This is a parabolic installation video for the KTM, Husqvarna, and Beta motorcycles. Depending on what handlebar clamps you're running on your KTM, you may have to make some slight modifications. Like with this top bridge, you'll need to cut the center section out, or you can purchase individual clamps from KTM or from the Precision website. Or with these clamps where the bottom is bridged, you will need to cut this center section out, or once again, purchase KTM bottom clamps like in the previous picture. These are also available on the Precision website. Precision will provide you with aluminum cones, longer bolts and nuts to modify your stock clamps. If you're running the Precision Shock and Vibe clamps, they will also come with the aluminum cones and nuts to install them. The Precision Parabolic damper will work fine with PHDS handlebar clamps.
So here, I like to strap the front wheel up to the frame so that the stem clamp doesn't, or the stem doesn't fall out of the bearing. So we're going to loosen all our bolts here. That's already been pre-done. Take the pinch bolt off. We'll take the stem bolt off. And now we can work our triple clamp off. We're going to take the dust seal off. I'm going to take the seal underneath it off. Now, if the weld is sticking up, you may need to grind it down a little bit in order to get the clamp down. But first, we're going to try and put the clamp on. And it helps if you pry it open first with a screwdriver, just like so. Now, this one goes down pretty far. We can see I have a good gap there. We can drop this on and make sure we have a gap underneath here and in the front, and we do, so we're going to be fine. Now we're going to put our seal back on, the dust cap on, and the O-ring back on. Then we're going to put our bolt in, and we will torque that in a minute. Torque this bolt to 14 Newton meters, and then we can put the triple clamps back on. We're gonna tighten just a little below factory spec here so we have free steering. Remember, you're still strapped in here. And then we're gonna torque all our bolts to factory spec. It's okay for the pivot dog to be a little bit stiff because it's barely gonna move. And you just don't really want any play. So just slide her in like so. I'm gonna put the clamp on lightly.
Your pivot dog and pin will come pre-greased, but for general maintenance, putting a little grease in the hole, then inserting the pin and tapping it down will drive the grease into the grease screws and into the bushing. To install the boot, slide the boot over the pivot dog, small end down. Then insert the damper and pin into the pivot dog, pull up the boot, and then lift until it falls into the two grooves. Safety wire as needed. We want to center up the stabilizer and then rotate it to a point where the pivot dog doesn't move too much. So when we come in like so and then turn the bars, it moves slightly forward is ideal. A few millimeters is fine. It's perfectly fine. A few millimeters of pivot in either direction is fine. If you over-rotate the damper down, it will pivot the other way toward the rider. The closer you run your handlebars to the rider, the more angle you will need on the damper, rotating it down. The further away you run your bars, the flatter or more parallel they will be to the triple clamp. Okay, so now we can snug these up a little tighter. Make sure the gap stays even top and bottom. And then we're going to make sure we can hit our stops left and right. Now there's a notch here on the damper and one here in the middle.
This should not reach that or go beyond it on either side. And then, of course, take a visual look of your stops and make sure you're hitting them. Once we've determined that our alignment's good and everything's right, we can torque our bolts to 7 Newton meters.
Retorque the flathead screw that holds on the lever after the first 10 hours and then after every 50 hours. Use red Loctite and torque to 9 Newton meters. Your handlebar clamps have motion. You need to account for that motion with the gap between the lever and the pivot dog. If your handlebars don't have any motion, 1 millimeter is enough clearance. Please watch the setting the low speed and high speed video.